You know that moment when the check engine light comes on and your stomach drops? Yeah, I need to talk to you about something. If you own a Subaru, there's a really good chance you're making at least 3 or 4 mistakes right now that could cost you thousands of dollars down the road. And the worst part? You probably have no idea you're even doing them. I keep seeing the same patterns. Smart people, responsible car owners, people who think they're taking good care of their vehicle, and then bam, they're staring at a repair bill that makes their monthly car payment look like pocket change. So today, we're going through 12 things that almost every Subaru owner does wrong. And honestly, most of them have no clue until it's too late. Now, before we dive in, a quick note. These recommendations apply to most models, but always verify with your specific owner's manual since Subaru changes specs across model years. What's true for a 2015 Outback might be different for a 2008 Forester. We're covering 12 specific mistakes today, and I've timestamped each one in the description so you can jump to what matters most for your model. Mistake number 1 has cost Subaru owners an average of $3,000 in repairs. Mismatched tires on an all-wheel drive system. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just one tire. How bad could it be? And that's exactly the problem. That's what everyone thinks. Here's what's actually happening under your car. Subaru's all-wheel drive system is constantly, and I mean constantly, comparing the speed of all 4 wheels. That's how it knows when to send power where it needs to go. It's brilliant engineering, but it has one massive Achilles heel. If one tire has even a slightly different diameter than the others, the system thinks that wheel is slipping. So what does it do? It tries to compensate. The center differential starts working overtime, grinding away, trying to fix a problem that doesn't actually exist. And we're not talking about huge differences here, just a few 30-seconds of an inch in diameter, which is what you get when one tire has a few millimeters less tread than the others, and your all-wheel drive system is slowly destroying itself. I've seen people blow one tire, replace just that one tire, and 6 months later, they're looking at a $3,000 center differential replacement. Some Subaru dealers will tell you straight up, if one tire is damaged and the others have more than a certain amount of wear, you need to replace all 4, not 2, all 4. Now there is a workaround. Some tire shops can actually shave down a new tire to match the tread depth of your other 3, but most owners don't even know that's an option. And they definitely don't know they need it. So they pop on one new tire, think they're good to go, and they're literally counting down the days until that repair bill hits. Mistake number 2. And this is especially important if you have a Subaru with an FB engine, which is a lot of the models from the early 2000s 10 onward. Oil consumption. Now, I'm not talking about a leak you can see on your driveway. I'm talking about your engine just burning through oil like it's part of the fuel mixture. The FB series engines, they have this issue with the piston rings. Over time, they can wear in a way that lets oil slip past into the combustion chamber. Subaru even extended warranties on some of these engines because it was such a known problem. But here's the thing that drives me crazy. The fix, or at least the way to prevent catastrophic damage, is so simple it's almost embarrassing. Check your oil every 1,000 miles. That's it. Pull the dipstick, take a look, top it off if you need to. But what do most owners do? They go 6,000 miles between oil changes because that's what the sticker says. And they never once check the level. Then one day the engine starts knocking. And guess what? You've been driving on almost no oil for who knows how long. That's not a top-off situation anymore. That's an engine replacement situation. And all because nobody wanted to spend 30 seconds checking a dipstick once a month. Number 3, let's talk about coolant, because this one sneaks up on people. Subaru requires a specific coolant. It's called supercoolant, and it's this bright blue stuff. It's a long-life formula designed specifically for their engines. But what happens? People go to a quick lube place, or they grab whatever's on sale at the auto parts store, and they dump in generic green coolant. Now, you might get away with this for a while. Your engine's not going to immediately explode, but that green stuff doesn't have the same corrosion inhibitors. And in a Subaru Boxer engine, which already runs hot and has a history of head gasket issues on certain models, you're basically playing Russian roulette. And if you mix the blue and the green, even worse. The different chemicals can react with each other and actually reduce the effectiveness of both. So now you've got coolant that's not protecting your engine the way it should, and you're accelerating the exact problem Subaru engineered their specific coolant to prevent. Mistake 4. Speaking of head gaskets, let's talk timing belts, because this is one of those things where people get dangerously overconfident. Subaru says replace your timing belt at 100,000 miles. Not 110, not 120, 100,000. But I can't tell you how many owners I've talked to who say, hey, I'll wait till 130. It still seems fine. Here's the nightmare scenario. Most naturally aspirated Subaru engines from 2000 to 2012 are interference engines. That means if your timing belt snaps while the engine's running, the pistons and valves are going to collide. They're going to occupy the same space at the same time, which, as you can imagine, is very bad. Bent valves, damaged pistons, you're looking at an engine rebuild at minimum. That's $5,000 easily, probably more. The timing belt replacement, about $1,000, maybe $1,200 depending on where you are. So you're gambling a $5,000 repair against saving a couple $100 and maybe another year of driving. And the belt doesn't give you warning signs. It doesn't start squealing or slipping. One day it's fine, the next day it snaps and you're calling a tow truck. Number 5. Now let's get into something that causes actual accidents, not just repair bills. The AWD myth. Subaru's marketing is so good at making you feel like you can drive through anything. Snow, ice, mud, doesn't matter, you've got all-wheel drive. And owners buy into this hard. They roll into winter with all-season tires and this false confidence that their Subaru's gonna handle like it's on dry pavement. Here's what nobody seems to understand. All-wheel drive helps you go. It helps you accelerate. It helps you get unstuck. But it does absolutely nothing to help you stop. When you're sliding on ice and you hit the brakes, it doesn't matter if you've got power going to all 4 wheels. Your tires are on ice. And those all-season tires you thought were good enough, they're basically hockey pucks when the temperature drops below freezing. I see it every winter. Subarus in the ditch, Subarus sliding through intersections, and the owners are genuinely confused because they thought AWD was some kind of magic traction system. Get winter tires, real winter tires. The difference is night and day, and no amount of all-wheel drive wizardry can make up for having the wrong rubber between you and the road. Mistake 6. Back to head gaskets, because we need to talk about this. If you own a Subaru, especially one from the late 90s to late 2000s, you've heard about the head gasket issue. It's legendary at this point. But even knowing it's a problem, owners still miss the early warning signs. Coolant leaks around the engine. That's the big one. You might see some dried residue, or maybe a small puddle under the car after it's been sitting. Overheating, especially if it's intermittent. And here's the scary one. Milky, frothy oil. If you check your oil and it looks like a chocolate milkshake, that's coolant mixing with your oil, and that means your head gasket is already compromised. Catch it early and you're looking at maybe $1,200 to replace the gaskets. It's not cheap, but it's manageable. Ignore it. Let it get worse. And coolant gets into places it should never be. You can warp the heads, damage the engine block, and now you're not replacing gaskets anymore. You're replacing the entire engine. We're talking 5 figures at that point. Number 7. Here's a mistake that seems small but adds up over the life of your car. Cheap parts. I get it. OEM parts are expensive. You can get an oil filter at the auto parts store for $6 instead of $15 at the dealer. Seems like a no-brainer, right? But Subaru's Boxer engine is weird. It's laid out horizontally, it runs hot, and it has specific tolerances that not every generic part is designed to handle. Oil filters especially. A cheap filter might not have the same flow rate or filtration quality, and over time that means more contaminants staying in your oil, more wear on your engine. Spark plugs, same thing. Brake pads, absolutely. I've seen people save $50 on brake pads and then deal with squealing, reduced stopping power, and rotors that wear out twice as fast. You end up spending more money fixing the problems the cheap parts caused than you would have spent just buying the right parts in the first place. Mistake 8. This one is regional, but if you live anywhere that uses road salt in the winter, or if you're near the ocean, pay attention. Subaru owners never wash their undercarriage. And I'm not talking about making it look pretty. I'm talking about preventing your frame from rotting out from under you. Pacific Northwest, New England, Colorado, anywhere they salt the roads, That stuff gets caked up underneath your car, and it just sits there, holding moisture against the metal, eating away at it. Subaru engines are tough. They'll run forever if you take care of them, but the frame can rust out way before the engine gives up. I've seen Subarus with perfect drivetrains that failed inspection because the frame was compromised. Get under there with a hose, especially in the spring after winter's over. Spray out the wheel wells, the undercarriage, get all that salt off. Some people even get an undercoating treatment, which isn't a bad idea if you're in a heavy salt area, but at minimum just rinse it off a few times a year. Your future self will thank you. Number 9, let's talk about suspension wear. Subaru has this reputation for being tough and rugged, and it is. But that doesn't mean you can ignore clunking noises, or the way your car pulls to one side, or the fact that it bounces like a trampoline over bumps. A lot of owners, they hear a clunk and they think, it's a Subaru. It's built tough. Probably fine. Meanwhile, their control arm bushings are shot, their struts are leaking, and their alignment is so far off they're chewing through tires. And here's the kicker. They take it in for an alignment, spend $100, and 2 months later, the problem's back because the alignment was never the issue. It was the worn suspension components that needed replacing. Uneven tire wear, pulling to one side, clunking over bumps, a ride that feels bouncy or unstable. These are all signs your suspension needs attention. And on a Subaru, especially if you're doing any kind of off-roading or driving on rough roads, that stuff wears faster than you think. Mistake 10, driving your CVT like a manual transmission. If you've got a CVT Subaru, a lot of owners don't understand how it works, and they drive it like it's a traditional automatic, or worse, like it's the manual transmission in a WRX. The CVT uses belts and pulleys instead of gears. It's designed for smooth, efficient power delivery. What it's not designed for is you flooring it from every stop sign, or towing a boat that's at the top of your weight limit up a mountain pass, or doing jackrabbit starts in a parking lot. That stuff wears the CVT in ways it's not built to handle. The belts slip, the fluid overheats, and suddenly you're looking at a transmission replacement. Drive it smooth. Gradual acceleration, don't tow more than you should, and for the love of all that is holy, don't treat it like a sports car. It's not. It's an efficient, reliable transmission if you use it the way it was designed. Number 11, and sticking with the CVT, we need to talk about CVT fluid because there's this myth floating around that it's lifetime fluid. Just leave it alone, never change it. It's good forever. And some owners' manuals even kind of imply this. But here's reality. That fluid degrades, especially if you're doing a lot of stop-and-go driving, or you live somewhere hilly, or you're towing anything. That fluid breaks down. It gets dirty, it loses its properties, and when it does, your CVT starts running hotter and wearing faster, even a small leak, maybe from a gasket or a seal, and now you're running low on fluid. The transmission overheats, and you've just shortened its lifespan by years. The smart move: change your CVT fluid every 60,000 miles, regardless of what the manual says. It's not that expensive, maybe a couple $100, and it can add years to the life of your transmission. And finally, mistake 12, the one that always gets people in the comments: rodent damage. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but this is a real problem. Subaru, like a lot of modern car manufacturers, uses soy-based coatings on their wiring. It's eco-friendly, it's cheaper, and apparently it's delicious. If you're a mouse or a squirrel, rodents chew through the wiring, and suddenly nothing works. Your check engine light's on, your sensors are going haywire, maybe your car won't even start. And the repair bill? Hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands, depending on how much damage they did. And here's the best part: Subaru doesn't cover it under warranty. It's considered environmental damage. You can buy rodent deterrent tape. You can wrap your wiring. Some people even put mothballs or peppermint oil around their car if it's parked for a while. Or just pop the hood periodically if your car sits for more than a few days. Rodents like dark, enclosed spaces. Make it less appealing, and you might save yourself a massive headache. Look, I love Subarus. They're amazing cars when you take care of them properly. But that's the key. You have to know what properly actually means, and a lot of this stuff nobody tells you. It's not in the owner's manual in big bold letters. You learn it from mechanics after the damage is already done, or from other owners who learned the hard way. So if you own a Subaru or you're thinking about buying one, take this stuff seriously. Check your oil regularly. Use the right fluids. Don't skip the timing belt. Replace all 4 tires when you need to. And for the love of everything, get winter tires if you live somewhere with actual winter. Oh, your wallet will thank you, your car will last longer, and you won't be that person in the comments section explaining how you learned a $3,000 lesson about mismatched tires.